we're diving into a story so wild. It'll make you dig through your couch cushions like a treasure hunter. You're at a flea market, buying some old baseball cards, and you get a handful of change. You toss it in your pocket, not thinking much of it. But later, as you're dumping it into your coin jar, you spot a 1978 penny with no mint mark. And guess what? That tiny little copper beauty is worth a jaw-dropping $1.60 million. Yeah, you heard me right. A single penny, worth more than a mansion. So, how does an everyday Lincoln cent turn into a millionaire's dream? Buckle up, because we're about to find out. All right, let's break this down. Most pennies have a little letter under the date, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, and nothing for Philadelphia. But in 1978, something strange happened. A few pennies came out of the mint with no mint mark, and they weren't supposed to. This wasn't just a regular Philly penny. Oh no, this was a printing error, a rare, once-in-a-blue-moon type of mistake that collectors go nuts for. Well, back in the early 2000s, a collector stumbled upon one of these 1978 no-mint mark pennies at an estate sale. He thought, this looks a little off. Turns out, he was holding on to a golden, or rather, copper, ticket. Word spread in the numismatic community, and suddenly, collectors were on the hunt. Flash forward to today, and that rare penny is now valued at $1.6 million. That's more than some Ferraris, and let's be honest, a penny is way easier to park. Okay, now let's get to the fun part, how you can find one of these in the wild. Make sure it's 1978. If it's not, well, you still got a penny, and that's something. Flip it over, check under the date. No D, no S, just a blank space. If it's in pristine condition, you're in business. If it looks like it survived a garbage disposal, well, it might still be worth something, just not millions. Now, let me tell you about a time I almost had my million-dollar moment. Almost a couple of years ago, I was at a gas station. The guy at the register gave me change, and I spotted a 1978 penny. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be? No mint mark? I rushed home, grabbed my magnifying glass like Sherlock Holmes, only to find a regular old Philly penny. I won't lie. I sat there, staring at it like it betrayed me. But hey, the thrill of the hunt is half the fun. And now, I check every single penny I come across, because you never know when you'll strike gold or copper. So, what if you actually find one of these legendary coins? Don't spend it seriously. Don't hand it to the vending machine for a bag of chips. Get it authenticated. Take it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. These folks will confirm if it's the real deal. Auction it off. Rare coins like these sell at high-end auctions, where collectors bid like they're in a movie montage. Retire early. Okay, maybe not immediately, but hey, $1.6 million can change your life. So there you have it, folks. The incredible story of the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny worth more than a Lamborghini. It's proof that even the smallest things can hold big value. Now, I've got a challenge for you. Go check your pockets, your piggy banks, your grandma's old coin jar. Who knows? You might just be sitting on a fortune and not even know it. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about hidden treasures in your spare change, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips and tricks coming your way. And remember, every penny counts. All right, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your old coin jar, looking for some spare change to grab a coffee. When bam, you stumble upon a little copper penny that looks just like any other. But guess what? That tiny coin could be worth a staggering $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right. Today, we're talking about the ultra-rare, jaw-dropping, retirement funding 1982 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, before you start flipping over every penny in sight, let me take you on a journey through the world of coin collecting, the secrets behind this rare penny, and how you might just strike gold. Or in this case, copper. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll be raiding your couch cushions and checking under your car seats like a treasure hunter on a mission. Let's start with the basics. In 1982, the U.S. Mint was in the middle of making a major change. Up until then, pennies were mostly made of copper, but due to rising metal costs, they decided to switch to a copper-plated zinc composition. That meant there were two types of pennies produced that year, copper and zinc. But here's where things get interesting. There were also 7 different varieties of pennies minted that year, and one of them, the holy grail of modern pennies, was the 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny.so. What exactly makes this little guy so special? Well, the key here is the missing mint mark. Normally, pennies minted in Philadelphia in 1982 had no mint mark, and that was standard. But this particular 1982 penny has a unique die error that sets it apart. This error, combined with the fact that very few were ever released into circulation, makes it incredibly valuable. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market digging through a box of old coins when I overheard an older gentleman talking about his friend who cashed in a rare penny for 6 figures. Naturally, my ears perked up. I mean, who wouldn't want to turn a penny into a fortune? So I asked him for the details, and he told me about this exact coin, the 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny. Ever since then, I've been on a mission, checking every penny I come across like a detective on a case. And let me tell you, it's become a bit of an obsession. Now, onto the juicy part. How much is this bad boy worth today? Hold on to your hats, because as of now, the highest recorded sale of a 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is a whopping $1.7 million. That's right, a single penny that's worth more than a mansion, a luxury sports car, and a dream vacation combined. The reason behind this sky-high value? Rarity, condition, and collector demand. Serious coin collectors are willing to pay a premium for the best preserved specimens, and that's exactly what makes this coin a golden, or should I say, copper, opportunity.so. How do you know if you have one of these life-changing pennies? First, grab a scale. If your 1982 penny weighs 3.11 grams, you might just be in luck because that means it's the copper version. Next, check for any signs of a missing mint mark. If there's no little letter under the date, you're onto something big. And lastly, condition matters. The better shape your penny is in, the more valuable it could be. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, now you know the story of the legendary 1982 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, the tiny copper coin that could make you a millionaire. Before you run off to raid your penny jars and check your piggy banks, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications because I've got plenty more coin collecting secrets and money-making tips coming your way. And hey, if you do happen to find one of these rare pennies, let me know in the comments. I promise I won't be too jealous. Keep hunting, keep collecting, and who knows? Your next coffee run could turn into a $1 million payday. Have you ever casually checked your spare change, hoping to stumble upon a hidden fortune? Well, today, we're talking about a little penny that packs a big punch, the 1952 wheat penny. And guess what? One of these just sold for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. That's right, a single, humble 1-cent coin is worth more than a mansion, a fleet of luxury cars, or an unlimited lifetime supply of coffee. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this coin so valuable and how to check if you have one hiding in your collection, or even in your pocket right now. Let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was going through an old jar of pennies that had been collecting dust in my grandmother's attic. I wasn't expecting much, just some pocket change and maybe a couple of wheat pennies for my collection. But as I sifted through the pile, I came across a 1952 penny. My heart skipped a beat. Could it be the one? I mean, I was already daydreaming about my future yacht, complete with a coin-themed pool float. Turns out it was just a regular old 1952 but it still got me hooked on searching for these hidden treasures. So, what makes the 1952 wheat penny worth so much money? Let's break it down. The S means it was minted in San Francisco, which already makes it a bit more collectible than the Philadelphia minted versions. San Francisco didn't produce as many pennies that year, which means fewer were put into circulation, making them slightly rarer. The real money comes from rare error versions. Some of these pennies have double dies, repunched mint marks, or off-center strikes. If you have a 1952 with a visible doubling effect on Lincoln's profile or the lettering, you might just have hit the jackpot. There's also a rumor about a 1952 over 1951 mint mark, which is extremely rare and could be one of the reasons a penny reached that insane $1.7 million price tag. Now, you can't just pluck any 1952 penny from a change jar and expect to retire overnight. Condition is everything. Coins that are graded MS 67 or higher are the ones pulling in those massive auction prices. That means little to no scratches, a beautiful luster, and barely any signs of circulation. The coin collecting world is booming. As more collectors enter the market, demand for rare, high-quality coins is skyrocketing. And when demand goes up, so do prices. Plus, let's be honest, who wouldn't want to say, yeah, I made my millions from a penny at a dinner party? So, how do you find out if you have $1 million 1952 wheat penny? First, grab a magnifying glass. You're looking for minting errors like doubling, repunched marks, or misalignment. Next, check the condition. If your coin looks like it just rolled off the minting press, you might want to get it professionally graded. And finally, research recent auction results. Even if yours isn't the holy grail of pennies, some still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, we've gone through the history, the mint mark, the errors, the condition, and the crazy prices of the 1952 wheat penny. So, the next time you get a handful of change, don't just shove it in a drawer. Give it a good look. Your next trip to the gas station could turn into the biggest payday of your life. And if you love learning about coins that are worth serious money, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got plenty more tips, tricks, and hidden coin treasures coming your way. Who knows? Your next great discovery might just be in your pocket right now. Hey there, fellow coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters. Have you ever dreamed of finding a life-changing coin in your pocket change? What if I told you that a plain-looking penny from 1978 could be worth a mind-blowing $1.8 million? Yes, you heard that right. $1.8 million for a single penny. You could buy a mansion, a sports car, or just swim in a pool of pennies like Scrooge McDuck. Now, before you start dumping out your piggy bank all over the floor, let's break this down. What makes this 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny so valuable? How can you tell if you have one? And most importantly, where can you cash in if you strike gold, air, copper? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to turn your penny hunting hobby into cold, hard cash. The mystery behind the 1978 no-mint mark penny. Let's rewind to 1978. Gas was 63 cents a gallon, disco was king, and the U.S. Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies by the billions. Most were stamped with a little D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But somewhere, somehow, a tiny batch of pennies slipped through the cracks, completely missing a mint mark. These weren't just any pennies. They were struck on special planchets with a high-quality finish, making them stand out from your average penny. Now, you might be wondering, how did this even happen? Well, let's just say mistakes happen everywhere, even at the U.S. Mint. Maybe someone had a rough Monday morning and forgot to punch in the mint mark. Or maybe, just maybe, these pennies were meant to be secret million-dollar Easter eggs for future collectors like you. Why would someone pay a fortune for a tiny copper coin? It all comes down to rarity, demand, and condition. The 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny is incredibly scarce, with only a handful known to exist. It's like finding a four-leaf clover in a field of three-leaf ones. Except, in this case, that clover could buy you a Ferrari. A few years ago, one of these rare pennies was graded as nearly flawless, a mint state 67 plus red. For those of you who speak collector lingo, when it hit the auction block, collectors went absolutely nuts. The final bid? A jaw-dropping $1.80 million. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was rummaging through some old coin rolls from the bank. My wife thought I was crazy, sitting there for hours, hunched over with a magnifying glass. I felt like a modern-day pirate searching for buried treasure, minus the eye patch. Then, I saw it. A penny that looked different. My heart started racing. Could it be? I held it up to the light, checked the date. No mint mark. I thought I had just hit the jackpot. I ran to my wife, nearly knocking over the dog in the process. I was already picturing my beachside villa. Well, turns out, I had misread the date. It was a 1979, not a 1978. The disappointment was real, my friends. But hey, that's part of the adventure. And it just goes to show, you never know what you might find if you keep looking. All right, so how can you find one of these legendary 1978 no-mint mark pennies? Make sure it says 1978, not 1977 or 1979. Trust me, you don't want to experience my heartbreak, or rather, the lack of one. If there's a tiny D or S under the date, sorry to break it to you, that's not the one. If you think you've got a winner, don't clean it. Cleaning a rare coin is like washing a signed baseball card. It destroys the value. If your coin looks promising, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you if you've struck it rich. If you do happen to find one, first of all, congrats. You've just won the collector's lottery. Your next step? Auction houses like Heritage Auctions or Stax Bowers are your best bet for getting top dollar. Online marketplaces like eBay are another option, but you'll want to be careful with scammers. So there you have it, folks. The 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, an unassuming little coin that could change your life overnight. Who knew that something you might casually toss in a tip jar could be worth a fortune? Now, if this video has inspired you to start digging through your coin jar, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you never miss another money-making coin tip. And if you've ever found a rare coin yourself, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your stories. Remember, treasure is hiding in plain sight. You just have to know where to look. All right, folks, gather around because today, we are talking about a tiny little copper coin that could make you a millionaire. That's right. A single 1968 Lincoln penny with no mint mark has sold for a staggering $1.90 million. You heard that correctly. A little 1-cent coin that most people wouldn't think twice about could change your life. So, before you toss that spare change in the tip jar, you might want to check your pockets. Today, we're diving deep into why this penny is worth a fortune, how to spot one, and what makes it so valuable. Plus, I'll share a personal coin hunting experience that'll have you laughing and maybe even running to your coin jar. Let's get into it. All right, let's start with the basics. The 1968 Lincoln penny was minted in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Now, coins from Denver and San Francisco have a little D or S below the date. But the ones from Philadelphia? No mint mark. That's normal. But here's where things get crazy. There's a super rare version of the 1968 penny that was supposed to have a mint mark but doesn't. And that's what collectors are going absolutely bonkers over. So, how did this happen? Well, back in the day, mint workers were supposed to punch a little S or D onto the dies before striking the coins. But every now and then, someone in the mint had a rough morning. Maybe they were up too late watching reruns. Maybe they didn't have their coffee, who knows? And they forgot. That mistake led to a handful of 1968 pennies being struck without a mint mark when they should have had one. And because so few of these error coins exist, collectors are willing to pay insane money for them. Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if you've got the penny? Well, first off, grab any 1968 penny you find and check under the date. If there's no mint mark, don't panic. Most of them are normal Philadelphia pennies. But if you suspect you've got the rare error coin, you'll want to look at a few key details. The real deal will have crisp details, a strong strike, and match the weight and diameter of a regular Lincoln cent. And if you think you've got a winner, send it off to get professionally graded because that's how you confirm its authenticity. Now, let's talk value. This bad boy has sold at auction for $1.90 million. That's not pocket change. That's retire on a beach money. Even lower-graded versions of this coin can fetch thousands, so it's definitely worth checking every single 1968 penny you come across. Speaking of checking coins, let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I was helping my grandpa clean out his old junk drawer. You know, the one where everything from rubber bands to old screws and mystery keys end up. Well, we stumbled upon a little jar of pennies, and he says, just toss them in the coin star. But being the coin nerd that I am, I decided to go through them. And guess what? I found a 1943 steel penny in near mint condition. Not quite a millionaire moment, but it did sell for a few $100. And let me tell you, Grandpa went from just toss them to let's check every penny real quick. So, moral of the story? Always check your change, because you never know when you might be holding a fortune. All right, my fellow treasure hunters, there you have it. The story of the 1968 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that could make you rich. If you've got old jars of coins lying around, now's the time to go through them. And if you ever come across a 1968 penny without a mint mark, don't just spend it on a cup of coffee, get it checked out. If you found this video helpful or even just mildly entertaining, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more coin collecting tips, tricks, and hidden treasures. Who knows? The next video might help you discover another rare coin worth a fortune. Alright, folks, buckle up because today we're diving into one of the most mind-blowing discoveries in modern coin collecting, the 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny. Now, you might be thinking, a 2004 penny? What's so special about that? Well, let me tell you. This tiny little copper beauty is worth up to $2 million. Yeah, you heard that right. 2 million bucks. So, if you've got some spare change lying around, you might just want to start digging through that coin jar like a kid on Christmas morning. Because today, we're breaking down exactly why this coin is worth a fortune, how to tell if you have one, and what makes it so insanely valuable in the world of coin collecting. Oh, and of course, I've got a funny little story about my own penny hunting adventures that you won't want to miss. Let's start with the basics. What exactly is the 2004 no mint mark Lincoln penny, and why is it causing such a stir in the numismatic world? First off, when we talk about no mint mark, we mean this penny was struck without the little letter that tells you where it was made. Usually, pennies have a small D for Denver or an S for San Francisco. But this one? Nada. Just good old Abraham Lincoln looking as presidential as ever, without any clue that he's sitting on a coin worth more than most people's houses. So, why is this penny so valuable? Well, it all comes down to an extremely rare minting error that makes this coin practically one of a kind. Experts believe that during production, a small batch of these pennies was struck without the necessary mint mark, making them exceptionally rare. Rarity drives up demand, and demand, well, that drives up the price. Now, let's talk money. If you happen to find one of these bad boys in pristine, uncirculated condition, you're looking at a potential payday of around $2 million. Even in slightly worn condition, these pennies can still be worth thousands. That's right. Your pocket change could be more valuable than your car, your house, or even your retirement fund. Speaking of pocket change, let me tell you about the time I nearly threw away a coin worth a small fortune. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my car. You know, one of those rare occasions where you finally decide to tackle the mess of fast food receipts, crumpled napkins, and enough loose change to make a cash register jealous. I was about to dump a handful of pennies into a tip jar when something caught my eye. A weird-looking penny. It just looked different, shinier, almost too perfect. Curiosity got the best of me, and instead of tipping my barista an accidental jackpot, I took it home and did some research. Turns out, it wasn't $1 million coin, but it was a valuable error penny worth a few $100. Moral of the story? Check your change before you chuck it. Now, how can you tell if you have one of these legendary 2004 no mint mark Lincoln pennies? Here's what you need to look for. This is the big one. If your 2004 penny doesn't have a D or S under the date, you might be onto something. Since these coins were made under unusual circumstances, the details on Lincoln's face and the lettering are often crisp and clear. Error penny should weigh around 2.5 grams. If yours is significantly lighter or heavier, it might be a counterfeit. If you think you have one, get that baby professionally graded. A verified high-quality specimen is what gets you that seven-figure payday. So, what's the lesson here? Always check your change. That little penny sitting at the bottom of your couch cushion could be worth more than a luxury car. Who knew that something so small and seemingly insignificant could turn into a life-changing discovery? And hey, if you found this video helpful, or at least entertaining, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got tons more tips, tricks, and hidden treasure stories coming your way, and trust me, you don't want to miss them. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, and let's keep this treasure hunting community going strong. Alright, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for loose change, maybe a quarter for the vending machine. Instead, you pull out an old, dull penny. No big deal, right? Wrong. That tiny copper coin could be worth a staggering $2.1 million. That's right, today, we're talking about one of the rarest and most valuable pennies out there, the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny. So grab your coin jars and stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for. And who knows, you might just be sitting on a fortune. Now, let's start with the basics. In 1986, the U.S. Mint produced millions of pennies across 3 different mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, coins struck at the Philadelphia Mint have no mint mark, which is totally normal. But here's where things get interesting. This particular penny isn't just missing a mint mark. It's got a rare and mysterious error that makes it worth serious cash. So what's so special about this penny? It all comes down to an error in the die-making process. See, the U.S. Mint uses dies to stamp the designs onto coins. Occasionally, a die will be created without a mint mark when it should have one. These errors are rare, but when they happen, they create some of the most valuable coins in existence. And the 1986 no mint mark Lincoln penny? It's the king of them all now. Let me tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a garage sale, just browsing through a box of old coins. The seller clearly had no idea what they had, and I spotted a 1986 penny sitting right on top. I picked it up, flipped it over, and my heart skipped a beat. No mint mark. I thought, could this be the penny? Spoiler alert, it wasn't. But for a few glorious moments, I was already planning my trip to a tropical island. Moral of the story? Always check your change. Now, let's talk value. How did this coin hit a jaw-dropping $2.1 million? Well, like any collector's item, it's all about rarity and demand. This particular penny is nearly impossible to find in high-grade condition. The few that have surfaced have sent collectors into a bidding frenzy. At a recent auction, one of these rare beauties sold for an unbelievable $2.1 million. That's enough to buy a mansion, a luxury car, and still have plenty left over for a lifetime supply of tacos. So, how do you know if you have one of these golden, well, copper tickets? First, check the date. It must be 1986. Second, look for a mint mark under the date. If there's a D for Denver or an S for San Francisco, sorry, you're out of luck. But if there's nothing there, hold on tight. The next step is getting it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. And if it turns out to be the real deal, congratulations, you just hit the jackpot. So, there you have it, folks. That old penny in your pocket? It might just be worth millions. And the best part? Rare coins like this are still out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered. If this video has you running to check your coin jar, mission accomplished. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I post videos just like this one to help you uncover hidden treasures in your spare change. And hey, if you've ever found a valuable coin, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your story. Thanks for watching, happy hunting, and may your pennies always be profitable. Hey there, fellow treasure hunters. Imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions, looking for spare change, and bam. You find a 2008 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. You think, just another penny. But hold on to your coin purses, because that little copper beauty might just be worth a whopping $2.2 million. Yep, you heard me right. A single penny that could buy you a mansion, a dream vacation, or enough coffee to stay awake for a decade. Now, I know what you're thinking. Come on, a penny worth millions? That sounds like something my grandma would fall for on the internet. But stick with me, because I'm about to break down exactly why this coin is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can check if you've got one hiding in your pocket change. First things first, what's the deal with this penny? In 2008, the U.S. Mint was cranking out Lincoln pennies at multiple locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Normally, coins from Philly don't have a mint mark, and that's totally fine. But this particular 2008 penny isn't just missing a mint mark. It has some serious manufacturing oddities that make it a 1 in a million, or rather, 1 in a multi-million dollar, coin. Here's where things get spicy. This penny has an unusual doubling effect on Lincoln's face and parts of the lettering. It's what experts call a double die error, where the coin's design was struck twice by mistake, creating a shadowy, almost ghost-like effect. But wait, there's more. Some versions of this penny also have an off-metal composition, meaning they weren't made with the usual copper-plated zinc, but instead struck on a different planchet by accident. These rare errors are what make collectors go wild. and drive the price through the roof. So, where did the big money come from? Well, in 2024, a collector who had been obsessively searching for rare pennies found this holy grail of coins and put it up for auction. After a heated bidding war, imagine a room full of grown adults sweating over a tiny piece of metal. The hammer finally dropped at a jaw-dropping $2.2 million. And just like that, a lucky penny turned into a life-changing fortune. Now, I know you're already eyeballing your change jar like a dragon hoarding treasure, and I don't blame you. Here's how you can check if you have a 2008 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth millions. Look for doubling. Use a magnifying glass and inspect Lincoln's face, the date, and the words "In God We Trust." If they look shadowy or doubled, you might have a winner. Check the composition. If you suspect something unusual, weigh your penny. Standard 2008 pennies should weigh about 2.5 grams. If yours is different, it might be an off-metal strike. Get it authenticated. Before you start planning your new millionaire lifestyle, have a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC verify your find. They'll confirm if it's the real deal. Now, I gotta tell you, this whole thing reminds me of a time I thought I had struck it rich. A few years ago, I found an old coin in my grandpa's attic. It looked ancient, had all kinds of wear, and I just knew it was rare. I rushed to get it appraised, dreaming about quitting my job and buying a yacht. Turns out, it was a souvenir token from a tourist trap. Yep, my dreams of early retirement? Gone in a puff of disappointment. But hey, that's the thrill of the hunt. You never know when you're going to hit the jackpot. So, there you have it, the incredible story of the 2008 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny worth $2.2 million. If you take one thing away from this, let it be this. Never underestimate the power of pocket change. Who knows? The next time you get a handful of pennies from the store, you might just be holding your ticket to financial freedom. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and crazy coin stories coming your way. And hey, if you find a $1 million penny, don't forget who told you about it first. Maybe send me a postcard from your private island. Alright, folks, imagine this. You're digging through your couch cushions looking for spare change, and boom, you find a penny. No big deal, right? But what if I told you that one little penny could be worth $2.3 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Today, we're talking about the 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny, an ordinary-looking coin that's actually worth a small fortune. Stick around, because I'll break down exactly why this penny is so valuable, how you can spot one, and what to do if you hit the jackpot. And trust me, you're gonna want to hear my personal story on how I almost tossed away a rare penny. Big mistake. Let's get into it. Now, before you go raiding your piggy banks and flipping over every penny you see, let's talk about why this 2001 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny is such a big deal. Normally, pennies have a little letter on them, D for Denver, S for San Francisco, or P for Philadelphia. But this one, nothing. Zip. Zero. Not a So why does that make it special? Well, back in 2001, the US Mint was churning out pennies like a fast food drive-thru, but a tiny batch of them missed the mint mark. It was a minting error, and while most mistakes get caught, a few of these bad boys slipped into circulation. Fast forward a couple of decades, and collectors are going absolutely nuts over these coins. It's rare, it's weird, and it's worth a truckload of cash. One of these pennies, in pristine condition, recently sold for $2.3 million at an auction. That's right, 1 cent turned into over $2 million. If only all investments had that kind of return. Now, let me hit you with a quick reality check. Not every 2001 penny without a mint mark is gonna make you a millionaire. Condition is everything. The ones pulling in the big bucks are in mint state, meaning they look like they just rolled off the press. If it's scratched, worn down, or looking like it survived a zombie apocalypse, it's probably not fetching millions. But hey, it could still be worth a few $100. And that brings me to my personal story. A few years ago, I was at a gas station, paid for my coffee, and got some change back. I noticed a weird-looking penny, no mint mark, looked kind of fresh. But I was in a rush, so I tossed it in my car's cup holder. A few days later, I cleaned out my car, saw the penny again, and thought, whatever. You know where this is going, right? I spent it. Fast forward to today. I learned about the 2001 no-mint mark penny's insane value, and I nearly flipped my desk over. So how do you spot a valuable one? First, grab a magnifying glass. Yeah, it's time to go full detective mode. Check the date, 2001. Check the mint mark. There shouldn't be one. Then, look at the condition. If it's got that fresh off the mint shine, you might have something special. And if you think you found one, get it graded by a professional coin grading service. Don't just list it on eBay and hope for the best. All right, so what did we learn today? One penny, one tiny, overlooked, everyday coin, could be worth millions. That's why checking your change isn't just for fun. It could be life-changing. And trust me, you don't want to be the person who unknowingly spends a fortune on a pack of GUM. So here's what you need to do next. If you're even remotely interested in coins worth big money, hit that subscribe button. I'm always digging up new coin collecting strategies, rare finds, and tips to help you turn pocket change into serious cash. Plus, you don't want to miss my next video where I'll reveal another rare coin that could be hiding in plain sight.